live. Welcome to my video on the Marvel one-shot, MCU one-shot, All Hail the King from 2014. This video will not have any spoilers for the one-shot itself. I will be spoiling the MCU leading up to it. And, yeah, I think that pretty well covers... the short film is rated 12 plus as far as age goes, and so will this video be. And yeah, another one I love, another of my favorites of the one-shots. So a aging, easily confused, a guy who he used to be on screens all the time, and a bunch of people love him for that. And yeah, now he is seemingly facing justice. And that not only describes what I hope to soon see for Donald Trump, although, not prison, I am a prison abolitionist, but restorative justice, but it also describes what is going on in this short film. And the old guy in question is, of course, Slattery, Trevor Slattery. And this was very much a course correct, sorry, our bad, consolation prize kind of thing. And considering that, I think they handled it pretty well, arguably retcons go. I've long felt that the MCU tends to do pretty well at those. And I am not going to give away exactly, because it's revealed fairly late in this, exactly what it's retconning and how. But suffice it to say, there were a lot of people who had... there were multiple issues people had. Not me, but other people. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I do think a lot of Iron Man 3 really works. One issue in particular was it got a number of people riled up. And I'm not saying they're wrong for that. And this was an attempt at... basically coming out and saying, hey, we screwed up, our bad, let's see if we can't find a way for us to come to some agreement that means you will still be giving us money. And lest you think that this was just like empty words, the old conservative politicians, conservative in general words, or no, they did follow up on this. I'm not going to give away exactly when or how, but there was, and it wasn't immediate. I understand if some people felt it took too long. I guess if I'll just say there was at least one person who was very much against how they, against something about how they ended up following up on it, and that once that person was no longer in the way, they were working diligently towards it. And a lot of you will already know what I'm talking about, so I will just go ahead and say, yeah, I thought that movie was solid. Not perfect, there were definitely issues, but overall solid. And I did an entire video just on that movie, so I'm not going to go too much into it here. Now, I think that does cover... So yeah, this, takes place not very long after Iron Man 3, and basically Trevor's in prison, and there are people there who can't stand him. And a character, I think was his name Jackson, maybe, Scoot McNairy, plays this reporter who is trying to get answers from Trevor. And yeah, he's been doing a series of interviews and just trying desperately to get, something out of him. Now, yeah, this one definitely has a twist, something that you didn't expect. And that wasn't really something that was. Yeah, I already mentioned, I'm spoiling the MCU and adjacent leading up to, not including this. It does include the other, the ones that came before this, the one-shots that came before this. They didn't really so much have twists. Like, you might be surprised by the ending, but this one has a legitimate twist, And yeah, I've watched it twice now. I think they do the first time I didn't pick up on all of it, but this second time, knowing the twist going in, it's like, well played. There's little things that you can piece it together, or at the very least realize in retrospect. You might not be able to 100% figure out. And yeah, I mean, there's honestly, they managed to, like, considering Slattery, considering, this is like a follow-up to a Shane Black, movie. Obviously, there's going to be a bunch of comedy. Yeah, like, I haven't watched everything he's responsible for, but yeah, like various of, I guess I'll just briefly mention. So yeah, other than Iron Man 3, the ones I'm familiar with his work, yeah, The Predator, The Last Boy Scout, are those really? Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I think those are all of them. Yes, you don't have to tell me. I know. What are those called again? Lethal Weapon, maybe the Danny Glover. Yeah, the ones that pair Danny Glover up with that really vicious anti-Semitic jerk who somehow still sometimes appears in movies because cancel culture isn't a real thing, at least not when you're powerful and conservative. I know, maybe I will at some point. I haven't been, like, avoiding them. Let's see, I think... But yeah, like Shane Black, some of Shane Black's other movies, other than the fun and tension, and that's not a spoiler, the first bit of tension is very early in this. Like I said, some people in this prison hate his guts. One person walks right up to him and makes a very, like, clear threat. Like, he's not just implying something. And yeah, anyway, in addition to the jokes and the tension, the haha and the ooh, there's also some aw. There's actual, like, genuine, earnest, tender moments in this. Like, we see a picture of Trevor as a kid. He got his first role, and yeah, like, he talks a little about how much his mother meant to him. It is genuinely sweet. And, like Shane Black and the MCU, they really were kind of a perfect match. Anyway, yeah, there is also some subversion of, there'll be something that seems genuine, and then, yeah, some kind of, yeah. I think that more or less covers. Yeah, this was definitely. I think this does a good job of bridging the gap that there definitely was between people who loved Trevor and people who were frustrated by one particular aspect of Iron Man 3. It was very clear that something needed doing there. If the MCU was going to keep attracting enough people that the movies are profitable, and that is obviously the primary concern of the higher ups at Disney. Yeah, I think they did a good job. I wish this was not homophobic. I get that, it's trying to be like edgy and such, for like 12 plus. I mean, there are some jokes in there that, like, yeah, it's one of those things. I guess I'm not gonna say it myself in case there are 12-year-olds watching, but there is a word used that I guess because it's thought of as British and not American, so that maybe they were like, American 12-year-olds aren't going to get it, and we don't really care about English 12-year-olds. Like, how on Lost they were able to get away with saying, crap, it's been so many years. Well, I'm glad it's been a lot of years since I watched Lost last. My I have it's been years since I stopped updating exactly when, when did I watch a Lost episode again. I don't know. I may or may not have once upon a time had a Lost last list. But yeah, they were able to, for a while, get away with having some of the British characters say sawed off, because it took a while for the American censors to realize, oh, that's like actually pretty. That's an intense swear word for the English, isn't it? So for a while, they would have them say it constantly. I mean, maybe just like daring them, like, to see, can we? How do we keep getting away with this?